Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4 on this Tuesday. Another humid day out there. I thought the storms last night would cool things off.
Not yet, but it will be in just a little while.
Yeah, a couple of days to go yet. We'll get to the weather in a minute. But first, here's what's making news on this Tuesday. President Trump is expected to visit El Paso and Dayton tomorrow. In the wake of this weekend's shootings, we'll hear more from investigators in both cities.
If you're feeling emotionally exhausted from this weekend's shootings, you're not alone. Our Rose Schmidt spoke with a psychologist about the best way to handle this, even if you didn't witness it firsthand.
And a judge has sentenced the first of 3 people found guilty of beating a man to death in Lodi. Danica Lewis will share the latest.
Let's take a look outside today. A little rain this morning, but then sunny and warm. Oh, is that a beautiful shot?
Lake Wingar, I bet.
Out on your paddleboard, these are summer days to savor.
Have you ever done this?
I have. I love it. Yeah, it's really fun. It's very relaxing, and it's a very good workout, too.
Okay, there you have it. One more warm day. The weather words, Dana's in the backyard. A little steamy out there.
It is. It's a little warm, still just a little humid outside. I don't think it's as bad as it was yesterday, but to take a live look from our Edgewater sky cam, we do have some blue sky and a few clouds, but not much for us. Now, some isolated showers possible this evening. Right now, it looks like we have rain in Iowa County. We aren't expecting any stronger severe thunderstorms like what we had last night, but we may see a few more of those isolated storms pop up this evening just because it is so humid outside. 82 currently in Madison and in Mineral Point, at about 84 towards Janesville with a breeze coming from the northwest. Usually that's enough to cool us down, but just not the case for right now. It's going to stay pretty warm actually again for one more day. We'll be back in the mid-80s tomorrow with some sun throughout the morning and then the chance for showers and thunderstorms later in the afternoon. That'll bring a bit of a cool down for the end of the week. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead for the next few days in your work week in just a few minutes. Right now, here's the Beltline on Park Street. Thankfully, both east and westbound seem to be moving along just fine. No accidents to pinpoint currently. Around Dane County, you should be getting through just fine. It's the eastbound side of the Beltline that speeds are down to about 20 to 30 miles per hour. DeForest looks good, as does Waunakee. And to get from Janesville to the Beltline, it's 26 minutes. 16 minutes from Sauk City to Middleton, and Sun Prairie to downtown. It'll be about a 15-minute commute for you this evening. And again, warm outside, but I'm looking forward to being back in the upper 70s. So that'll be by the end of the week and the weekend. We'll get a little cooler air.
That would be nice. All right, Dana, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, the FBI is assisting authorities in El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio.
They are trying to figure out what led 2 gunmen to carry out separate mass shootings over the weekend. The attacks happened within a span of 13 hours and left at least 31 people dead. Hillary Lane has the latest from El Paso.
Candles and white crosses line the memorial in El Paso, Texas, where mourners reflect on Saturday's deadly shooting.
I feel sorry for the people, their families, and everybody that are left behind.
Authorities believe the alleged gunman, Patrick Crucius, stopped at the Walmart because he was hungry and then randomly chose that location to open fire.
I was on my way to the store, but ended up going to another Walmart. So if I hadn't changed my mind, I would have been here too.
Police say the 21-year-old purchased the high-powered rifle he used legally and may have been motivated by a hatred of Hispanics. He's being held on capital murder charges and could be charged with hate crimes. President Trump will be meeting with victims' families here in El Paso, Texas and in Dayton, Ohio Wednesday. That's where another gunman opened fire, also killing several people.
Now is the time to overcome evil with good.
Do something! Protesters who don't want the president to visit Dayton held demonstrations Tuesday and plan to do so again tomorrow.
His rhetoric has been painful for many in our community, and I think that people should stand up and say they're not happy if they're not happy that he's coming.
Police say they found at least 41 shell casings at the Dayton crime scene. They allegedly came from the legally obtained assault-style rifle Connor Betts used to kill several people in less than 30 seconds, including his own sister, before police killed him. Hillary Lane, CBS News, El Paso, Texas.
And today, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced a series of proposals to address gun violence and mental illness, including safety protection orders. Mass shootings like those in Dayton and El Paso can leave a lasting impact on someone's mental health.
And cause secondary trauma for people who didn't even witness these events. Rose Schmidt is here now with tips from a local psychologist. This has been exhausting for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon for people to actually lose sleep over hearing about a mass shooting, and that can even be a natural response. But after multiple nights of not being able to sleep and losing your sense of safety, that might be when it's time to see a doctor. We spoke with Dr. Lisa Baker after the shooting at the Shake the Lake fireworks show in Madison, and again today. She says one of the main differences after the mass shootings over the weekend is those were targeted at specific groups of people and can lead to lasting impacts on those targeted groups due to fear, hatred, and bigotry. Dr. Baker says there are a range of responses from fear, anxiety, and compassion for those who are affected.
When people relate to or see themselves like the victims because of some characteristics or backgrounds or because they're in a targeted group, we're more likely to see secondary trauma symptoms and stress on a population in that way.
Anyone who starts to feel secondary trauma symptoms after hearing about these mass shootings should not isolate themselves and instead talk to family, friends, or even medical professionals. And Dr. Baker says someone beginning to lose their sense of safety and control may try to watch more TV and understand these shootings, but she says because these events are just so senseless, more media can actually make the symptoms worse. So she recommends taking a break from these images and try to, relieve your mind of seeing these pictures.
And there's nothing wrong for asking for help.
No, and she says, in fact, that's part of the process. That's important to do if you feel these symptoms.
All right, Rose, thanks. Great information.
Thank you, Rose. The Rock County Medical Examiner's Department is releasing the name of the woman who died following a crash in the town of Magnolia. The woman has been identified as 59-year-old Maria Mata Mendoza of Madison. The crash happened Sunday night. Rock County officials say Daniel Good was driving southbound on Highway 59 and didn't stop at the stop sign and hit a vehicle driven by Mata Mendoza. Good was arrested on several charges, including homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. Police say he had been arrested for 3 previous OWIs. A passenger in Mata Mendoza's car was also injured.
An Onalaska man is facing homicide charges related to a crash that killed 2 people in Sauk County last fall. A criminal complaint filed yesterday shows 67-year-old Albert Shores was driving a car that collided with an SUV on 9094 in the town of Delton. 60-year-old David Howe and 56-year-old Scott Miller were killed in that crash. Shores is facing 12 felony charges, including homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. He has 4 prior drunken driving convictions and 1 for operating with prohibited alcohol concentration. Well, the first of 3 people charged with beating a man to death in a Lodi home last fall will spend 7 years behind bars.
Our Danica Lewis is here now with more on that sentence. Danica?
Well, Mark and Susan, the prosecutors argue one of the people charged, Michaela Tracy, thought her boyfriend was cheating on her and asked the 2 men involved in this to come to their home along Highway 113 that night back in October. Police say Jacob Johnson is the one who actually beat Dalton Ziegler, leaving him battered, bloody, and left to die until police found him the next morning. Johnson pleaded guilty to being party to the crime of felony murder. Ziegler's mother asked this video here about her son to be played out in court today, just so the defendant could get a sense of who he killed.
I hope that you think about what you have done the rest of your life, because I know that I think about my son Dalton, my big huggable teddy bear, every day.
It's also reflected that
Johnson's attorney argued his client was a low risk for reoffending and felt genuine remorse for his actions, even seeking treatment for nightmares he had just days after the crime. The judge agreed to some extent, sentencing him to 7 years in prison and 5 years extended supervision. So as for the other people charged, Drew Luber pleaded guilty to being party to the felony murder back in May. He will be sentenced next week. Michaela Tracy is scheduled for her trial next January. So still a lot to go.
All right, Danica, thank you.
Sure thing.
The Boy Scouts of America is facing a new lawsuit over allegations that it covered up hundreds of cases of sexual assaults. A group known as Abused in Scouting has filed a lawsuit alleging the Boy Scouts of America covered up sexual predators in its ranks. Lawyers for the group say they've identified nearly 800 victims of abuse, and they say there are more out there. The Boy Scouts of America says says it has taken information from the abused in scouting group and turned over 120 reports to local law enforcement agencies. Michael Nussbaum says he was victimized as a scout. He says he reported the incident to the scouts, but nobody believed him.
They dismissed it and said, oh, he's a police officer, he's well respected.
The Boy Scouts also established a 24-hour helpline to receive reports of known or suspected abuse or behavior. That number is 844-726-8871.
In news around the state, the best care in the air is returning to the skies. Officials with the former Wisconsin-based airline Midwest Express say they've reached an agreement with the Portland, Maine-based Elite Airlines to begin nonstop flights from Milwaukee. Elite Airlines will provide aircraft and crews while Midwest Express reestablishes itself. Midwest Express ceased operation in 2010 after a merger with Frontier Airlines. Since 2017, a group of investors have been working to revive the defunct company.
The Coast Guard says the search for a missing swimmer off the shore of a Milwaukee suburb is now a recovery mission. Rescue teams resumed their search yesterday for a 19-year-old man who disappeared underwater last night. Authorities say a group of swimmers were at the Warnemont Park Beach in Cudahy when the teen never resurfaced.
And Jordy Nelson is... The Green Bay Packers are honoring Jordy's retirement today with a ceremony. Nelson spent 10 seasons with the Packers and 1 season with the Oakland Raiders. He had 69 touchdown receptions and 7,800 receiving yards in his 11 years as a pro. When asked what made him so successful on the football field, this is what he had to say.
I don't know. Honestly don't. Like I said, I kept it simple, just did what I was supposed to do and what I was taught. So I've had a lot of people ask questions of what the secret is, how do we get faster, how do you get whatever, and it's just work and pay attention and do what you're asked, I guess. I don't know. I honestly can't answer that.
The former Pro Bowler also helped the Packers win Super Bowl 45. He had 9 catches for 140 yards.
Very humble guy. Whose kid was in the background there?
I'm assuming it'd be Jordy's.
That was cute.
Good to see him again. Well, there's more at 4. Starting a family can be exciting and expensive.
Especially when it comes to childcare. We'll take a look at how to find the best daycare for less in Madison when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, the bowls at Chipotle have become a staple for the restaurant.
But a new report is drawing some big concerns about them. The new food economy says it found the fiber bowls are exposed to chemicals that can lead to cancer. The study says the bowls are treated with PFAS, also called forever chemicals. It helps the bowls hold hot, wet, and greasy food. But the EPA says those compounds do not break down in the human body, and they can accumulate over time. The chemicals also seep into the soil as the bowls break down, leading to toxic compost. Well, many parents send their children to summer camp.
Outdoor activities give kids a chance to disconnect from social media, but one summer camp is actually embracing it. This is YouTube Camp. The week-long course teaches kids how to shoot, edit, and post a video on YouTube.
You're kidding.
Well, a recent survey, look at this, found 29% of kids want to be a YouTuber or a vlogger when they grow up. More than professional athlete, musician, or astronaut. And the reason? Some kids are making millions. Forbes said last year Ryan of Ryan's Toys, Ryan's Toy Review that we featured here on Live at 4, raked in $22 million.
We're teaching life skills at summer camp, like, how to work together in a team and how to collaborate and understand how to give and receive feedback.
I guess my main goal is just gain a pretty good follower, subscriber base, hopefully maybe make a little bit of money off of it.
Now, YouTube camps are being offered across the country. They can cost up to $1,000 a week. Julian sees his work at camp as the first step to online success.
Somebody's making money, $1,000 a week. On Wall Street, bonds bounced back after the worst trading day of the year yesterday. The Dow Industrials added 311 points, closing at 26,029. The Nasdaq Composite Index was up 107. The S&P 500 gained 37. Well, finding childcare is one of the biggest burdens on a new parent.
And paying for it puts many families over the edge financially. Our Josh Spriter shows you how to afford childcare here in Madison.
And then gentle whoop. Can you hold your hand out? As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I had to start looking for care.
Jessica Bowden knows firsthand how difficult it is to find childcare in the Madison area.
We were on waiting lists all over town.
But finding a place for her little Milo around 2.5 years ago was just the start.
There were certainly some programs that I really wanted to get him into, but just looking at the cost of it, I didn't really know how we could swing that.
In some cases, it would cost Jessica and her husband $300 to $350 a week, and that's only with one kid.
It was more than I spent in a year in college myself.
It took the couple more than a year before they finally got Milo into an in-home daycare.
You're setting that stage for their whole life, and so finding that quality care was a must.
This is a child care crisis, according to Jody Bartnick. She's the executive director of Community Coordinated Child Care, or 4C.
Parents can't afford to pay, teachers can't afford to stay.
Bartnick says Madison has a reputation for having high-quality childcare, which is a bonus. But along with that, the cost for childcare keeps rising, while the need for more licensed childcare providers grows.
It's a super critical job. So we know that the brain develops most rapidly in the first 1,000 days of life. So the importance of this fundamental learning that's happening in these early years is so critical to kind of building the successes for that child early on.
Bartnick adds the average starting wage for a childcare worker is around $13 an hour. But paying more will only make it harder for parents to access care. That's where 4C hopes to help.
So we really want to make sure that all parents can access quality care, particularly low-income families can access quality care. So we often think about advocating for higher wages for the early childhood profession and thinking about affordable childcare costs.
I see you.
The city of Madison has an accreditation system, and the state also helps fund childcare programs. But Bartnick tells me much more needs to be done.
Research shows that if we invest in these programs now, we'll pay less in our criminal justice system, we'll help people move out of poverty. We know that the social benefits will pay off. It's just kind of getting people on board and recognizing the importance of education beginning at birth.
She says businesses need to focus more on helping out parents with more flexibility as well.
If you have a parent that can stay home with their children, that's a huge benefit. So not only can they stay home with their kids and be part of that, kind of those early years with them, they can also then take care of a few other kids, raise some more money.
In any case, 4C is there to help answer questions for concerned parents in the 8 counties surrounding Madison and point them in the right direction.
Can I do some more?
something the Bowdens applaud after going through the lengthy process of finding their son a place they were comfortable with.
It's so nice to be able to bring him to a place where I know he's having fun, he's safe, he's learning, and I can go to work and focus on what I'm doing.
Because as a parent, Jessica knows just how much it will impact Milo's future.
It's your baby. This is the most precious thing in your life that you love more than anything, more than life itself.
In Madison, Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
At Milo, he's all boy.
He is.
Jessica recommends new parents aim high and then go from there.
She says you can also look into the Wisconsin Shares program, where you may even qualify for assistance.
It's a real challenge.
Yeah, pressure on parents.
Not only to find affordable care, but just to find a spot in care
and
is
then
hard,
and then to keep it, too.
Right.
All right, there's more to come at 4, including some tips from Consumer Reports about how to deal with poison ivy.
And then coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 5, a Hartford man is accused of sexually assaulting a woman at a wave pool in Wisconsin Dells. We'll have more on the investigation at 5.
Take a look at this. An artist has created an installation using black tape for an exhibit in California. Daryl Carey showcases the process of creating the artwork titled Emergence in a time-lapse video. It took the visual artist 2.5 weeks to create the piece for an exhibit in Pomona.
That is so cool. It's a good idea to do a time-lapse.
All black tape.
Yeah, that's
that
incredible.
looks really neat.
There you go.
I would get sick walking too close to that.
Yeah, a lot of creative people out there.
Very creative people. More skill than I've got with tape.
Boy, it's warm outside today.
It is. It is really
Feels good.
warm. It's a little humid, but not as bad as what we had yesterday. Those storms did zap a little bit out. Not as much as what we would like to see, though. Now, we do have the chance for some stronger thunderstorms to build in tomorrow. So those thunderstorms will help cool us down definitely by the end of the week. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead, though, for the rest of the work week right after the break.
Where's the polar bear?
Warm right now, but not too bad. Here's a live look with our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville. We do have a few clouds, and there is the chance still this evening to see a few isolated showers. We aren't expecting much to move on in, but right now we do have a little bit of light rain right at the edge of Iowa and Dane counties. In the last 24 hours, of course, we've picked up quite a bit of rainfall with those storms coming through yesterday evening and last night. These isolated deeper pink and purple spots, and about 2 inches of accumulation. Most of Dane County hovering closer to about 1.25 inches of rainfall in the last 24 hours. So we saw some heavier rain at times, and right now it does look like we have some heavier rain along with that just outside of Dodgeville, some lighter showers, but no lightning. So it's not thunderstorms, just some rain coming on through. Again, isolated spots like that possible through the rest of the evening, though not incredibly likely, as we do have high pressure right now keeping things pretty quiet and calm. That front that brought all of our storms last night, well, off to the east now, thankfully hasn't stalled anywhere near us. It's going to continue to travel east, but our next opportunity for storms tomorrow will start to push on in. That cold front off to the northern corner of the plains, swings south right through us for your Wednesday evening. So there is going to be another chance for strong storms tomorrow. Thankfully, though, behind that front, it finally will cool down a little bit for the end of the week. Also won't feel nearly as humid outside. Right now we're at 82 in Madison, 86 in La Crosse. Compared to this time yesterday, it's a few degrees cooler. That cold front did help us out a little bit, but our dew points still hovering close to 60 for Madison and mid 60s along the state line. Compared to this time yesterday, still a bit of a drop. but we'd like to see a little more drop, and that's what that secondary front is going to give us as we head into the end of the week. By Wednesday morning, we start off with sunshine. In the afternoon, the clouds will build on in, and late in the evening and overnight, that's when that shower chance is going to push south and swing through. The good news, by Thursday, we're looking at a really pleasant day. We have sunshine in the forecast for Thursday and for Friday. No new systems moving on in. We'll get to enjoy some nicer weather for both days, and humidity certainly won't be nearly as high for the end of the work week and the weekend. A little closer look at tonight, plan on a partly cloudy sky. Again, there may be that chance to see a few more isolated showers as our temperatures will drop to the mid-60s for our overnight lows. There's going to be the chance to have some patchy fog early in the morning. Those temps will be close to our dew points. Wednesday afternoon, we're back in the mid-80s for our afternoon highs. Those shower and storm chances starting to bubble up and pass through in the evening. There is a slight risk for severe weather tomorrow. As you can see with this model run, not bringing a lot of rain in, though. It's not going to be as much as what we dealt with last night. For Thursday, we finally get the sunshine. Temperature-wise on Thursday, those temps will be back to the mid to upper 70s. So it is going to be more comfortable outside for Thursday and Friday. That cold front just coming on in and drying things up and bringing a little cooler air. Overnight low of about 62. Our skies will be mostly clear tonight, but because our temperatures are going to be close to our dew points, we do have the chance for some patchy fog tomorrow morning, especially in those lower lying areas. For your Wednesday afternoon, plan on a high of about 84 degrees. That's warm, and it's going to be humid, and of course that chance for some showers and thunderstorms developing in the late afternoon and evening. We'll be keeping a close eye on the radar tomorrow as those storm chances do start to develop. We're in the mid-80s again on Wednesday, but by Thursday and Friday, behind that cold front, is going to be more comfortable outside in the mid or to upper 70s for both days for afternoon highs. On top of that, our overnight lows will also drop back to the 50s for Friday and Saturday mornings. Get ready for a little more comfortable start to the day. By the weekend, should be pretty pleasant. We warm back up to the low 80s, though our humidity will increase just a little bit by Sunday and into the start of next week. That's going to come along with a slight chance for some thunderstorms on Sunday and Monday. We still have partly sunny skies, though, stretching through much of next week. No more jumps in our temperatures, but as you can see, we don't get to stay in the low 70s for long. By the weekend and next week, it does climb on up for us back to the low 80s, and those dew points creeping up as well. So tomorrow evening, we're not expecting a washout. We're not expecting a lot of rain to come through, but we do have the chance to have some stronger thunderstorms again. And the concern, of course, very strong wind gusts like what we saw last night coming through.
Well, keep an eye on that.
Yes, we'll be watching closely.
Thank you, Dana. We have breaking news now just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Quintus Cephas' attorney says they have filed a petition to reinstate him into UW-Madison.
Attorneys Stephen Meyer and Kathy Stilling tell News 3 Now they have filed the petition this afternoon, and they asked for a response by Thursday. Last week, a jury found Cephas, a former UW Badger player, not guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault. The hashtag #LetQTPlay is popping up on Twitter today. After the accusations, Cephas was suspended from the football team and expelled from the UW last semester. Cephas told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that he doesn't know if he will return to UW-Madison, but going back to school is a top priority for him. So we'll keep you posted on this.
If you're itching for a summer adventure, time outdoors might be just what you need. But watch your step. Poison ivy could be near.
In fact, it often grows where you might not expect it, the edges of backyards or sometimes even at the beach.
Leah Linscheid in Consumer Reports has some advice on how to avoid it and what to do if you get it.
It's been more than 3 weeks since Layla Faragala had a run-in with poison ivy. Most of the physical signs of it are gone, except for a few lingering scars and dried blisters. But the memories of the discomfort may take longer to fade.
The itching was so bad that I actually missed 2 days of school. I couldn't really walk or get out of bed.
It can be probably trickier to identify poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac than you might think. All these plants can appear differently depending on the area of the country they're in, the time of year, the weather.
Just brushing up against a poison ivy plant can deposit its oily coating, called urushiol, onto your skin. It's what makes poison ivy poisonous.
Only folks who are allergic to one of these plants will react, but most people are allergic. And it can happen immediately, right after you're exposed, or it can take up to 4 days for the rash, the swelling, the blisters to appear.
Some scientists believe we may be seeing more severe cases because of global warming and longer growing seasons. Long sleeves and long pants can help protect you, but even if you think you've been exposed, break out the soap and water immediately.
Scrub your skin really thoroughly, get under your nails. But you also want to wash your clothes, your gardening tools, even your dog. That residual oil can transmit the rash, and the oil can linger for years.
And just ask Layla, while topical creams may help, only time stops the itch. For News 3 Now, this is Leah Lynchide.
And it's so hard to see sometimes.
The three leaves, though. That's,
right.
Yeah.
That's the telltale sign. Other home remedies, including oatmeal baths and cool compresses, can offer some relief. But if they aren't helping, Consumer Reports suggest a trip to the dermatologist might be in order.
A course of steroids can be dramatically effective in stopping the itch sooner. That's why I stay inside.
And then there's frost, and then it'll be all
another reason I don't do anything. Still to come at 4, she was one of the most influential authors of our time.
We'll look back at the life and career of Toni Morrison when Live at 4 continues.
It's Guess the Skyline.
Yeah, there's a live look at Omaha, Nebraska. That's a great town.
I've never been.
I was there when the Badger basketball team went. Remember that? Yeah, that's a really nice town.
Good steaks.
6-hour drive straight west. The great novelist Toni Morrison and the first black female author to receive the Nobel Prize has died.
Morrison wrote these series of highly praised novels about African-American life, and she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Barack Obama. Kenneth Craig has a look back at her legacy.
What might your name be?
Beloved.
It was her 1987 novel, Beloved, later taken to the big screen and starring Oprah Winfrey,
So help me, Jesus,
that landed Toni Morrison the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. The work was inspired by the story of an American slave who makes the choice to murder her baby to save the girl from slavery. Morrison wrote 11 novels, 5 children's books, plays, and even an opera during her 6-decade career. In 2012, Morrison received the highest U.S. civilian award when fan and President Obama draped her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
my grandfather bragged all the time that he had read the Bible, and it was illegal in his life to read. Ultimately, I knew that words have power.
A documentary on her life called The Pieces I Am was released in June.
I wanted as many people who could hear my voice to understand the importance of her work. Get people to trust, oh, this is something safe, and then, bam, hit them with Toni Morrison.
Oprah, who idolized the writer, said just last year it is impossible to actually imagine the American literary landscape without Morrison. Oprah said she is our conscience, she is our seer, she is our truth teller. Toni Morrison died at a New York hospital Monday night. She was 88. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
And what a force she was.
Yes, she was. Morrison's family says she passed away peacefully last night, surrounded by family and friends.
Big loss. Well, still to come at 4, how does 60 miles a gallon sound? Pretty good.
And that's what you can get in the all-new 2020 Toyota Corolla Hybrid. We'll check it out when we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs, when Live at 4 continues.
No accidents to report right now. Of course, always good news. Here's a live look from the Beltline at Park Street. Both east and westbound seem to be going fairly smooth. Actually, eastbound doesn't look all that bad. Usually it's a little more congested at this time. Overall, really from 39, 90 through the state line, things look just fine. Heading towards Milwaukee, things don't look too bad. The eastbound side, though, those speeds are down to about 20 miles per hour, but we don't have any stop points right now. John Nolan, if you're trying to get onto the Beltline, quite a bit of a delay there before the on-ramp, and then the Isthmus, we do have some delays further downtown. DeForest looks okay right now. 113, though, from Wanakee, starting to see some backups, especially heading west. From Janesville to the Beltline, it'll take you just about 26 minutes. Middleton to Sauk City to Milton, about 16 minutes. And from Sun Prairie to downtown, it's gotten a little longer. It'll be about a 19-minute commute this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, thank you, Dana. Well, now that she's a duchess, Meghan Markle is living in royal splendor in England, but you can live in her former home in Los Angeles. This stylish 4-bedroom, 3-bath home is located in the Wilshire area. The 2,000-square-foot pad is very modern with a lot of open space. If you'd like to live like Meghan Markle did in her acting days, all you have to do is come up with $1.8 million, and this could be your new hangout. It's a beautiful house.
Yeah, it's a nice house. It's actually not bad, $1.8 million for LA.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The Toyota Corolla is the best-selling car of all time, and for the first time, it's available in a hybrid version.
All new for 2020, the Corolla is now in its 12th generation and is built on a reputation for reliability and value. The hybrid continues that heritage. Let's check it out as we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs.
It's a Corolla. It is a Corolla. It is the most popular selling car of all time. Guess how many cars have been sold in the 43 years that Corolla's been on sale globally?
I have no clue.
46 million.
300,000 of them were sold in the United States last year alone. And now for 2020, it's all new from the tires on up. And now you can get a hybrid version, which uses the Prius drive system. The result is an attractive, compact sedan with phenomenal mileage.
You can get 53 miles per gallon based on the EPA numbers around town, 52 on the highway, and I've been getting over 60 in the week that I've had it.
It's pretty amazing.
It's really amazing.
You heard right, 60 miles a gallon.
Now, I've been hyper-miling it, shall we say, you know, just kind of going easy like this, not really accelerating quickly. Not that you could anyway in this.
That's not an option.
Not an option.
As a matter of fact, the only options on our test car are floor mats and body side moldings.
Everything is standard. You can only buy it in one package. You know, it's kind of like the old Model T. You can have anything you want as long as it's black.
Or in this case, a very sparkly blueprint metallic. And like every Toyota that comes off the assembly line, the Corolla comes standard with the company's Safety Sense 2.0.
So you have forward collision warning, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, dynamic cruise control on this, auto high beams, and this even has the traffic sign recognition.
Holding the Corolla back is a singular and modest trim level. Lack of Android Auto, it has Apple CarPlay. Limited room in the back, it barely passes the Harvey test. And then there's this. Is it fun?
No.
It's not a driver's car.
No. This is not a driver's car. This is a car that is transportation. It's, you know, some people call it the very definition of an automotive appliance, and they might not be wrong. It's the car for people who don't like to drive.
I'm not sure that'd be a good selling point.
Toyota knows that. They have cars that are really fun to drive, the Supra, the 86, all of that. They know that people who buy this car really are interested in going from A to B as efficiently and reliably and cheaply as possible. And this hits on all those marks.
So in that sense, the Corolla Hybrid makes a compelling case for itself.
It's funny, you get in this car and I do find that I drive differently. I drive more economically. It's just a really smart, rational purchase, which is rare in the car business.
And that's just the opposite of you.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mark.
So here are the numbers. The hybrid version of the Corolla LX sedan is about $3,000 more than the non-hybrid version, but it's worth it, the difference in price. The sticker on this car was $24,467 with destination. And the mileage? Harvey took this car to Michigan and back and drove it around town for a week. When he turned it in, it had 59.9 miles per gallon.
Boy, that's incredible.
700 miles on a tank of gas.
That's great, and a great price point, too. And I love that color. I always comment on the color. That blue color is really pretty.
Yeah, the car grows on you.
Yeah.
At first, it's like a Corolla, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Not a sports car, like he said.
No.
But to get from A to B and run around town and do your errands?
$22,000?
That's not bad.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
All right, go to ridesanddrive.com for more on that, and we'll be right back with the final check your forecast.
Be right back.
Little humid, a couple of showers out there.
Yeah, we do have some isolated showers right now. It's also a little warm still outside as we take a live look here with our Edgewater Sky camera. Not too bad downtown, but unfortunately with our Doppler track, we've got a bug too.
Oh, that.
The mosquito, our state bird. We do have those showers again moving into what looks like Greene County right now in the southwest corner of Dane County. The good news though, no lightning with that little blob. It's just some rain right outside of Darlington and Belleville. We'll be seeing showers sliding south through the next hour or so as they continue to move down, but just that isolated spot. 82 in Madison and in Janesville right now, about 76 in Lone Rock and 82 in Prairie du Chien. So it is warm. This is just a little bit above average, and when you factor in those dew points, it feels like we're in the mid to low 80s outside right now. That is not coming along with much of a breeze either. A little one coming from the northwest, but it's not cooling us down. Tomorrow will be our last warm day. We have the chance for showers and thunderstorms later in the evening. Otherwise, your Wednesday is going to include sunshine in the morning and then high temperatures in the mid-80s building in later in the afternoon.
Not bad for August.
No, it could be much worse.
Yeah.
Maybe the grass will green up a little bit, all that rain last night?
With some rain coming through, about 2 inches. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm trying to sprout some seeds right now, so I can use it.
Thank you, Dana. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, it's like a piece of Paris has been transformed on Willie Street in Madison.
This month's Tastemaker takes us to La Kitchenette. It's French food and atmosphere at this home-style cafe. That looks delish. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's Final Touch, 11-year-old Tyler Carrick is known as the Donut Boy.
And for good reason. He's been traveling the country giving free donuts to police officers. Tyler started this project over a year ago at a bakery in Florida when he used his own money to buy donuts for a group of deputies. Since then, he's taken that kind gesture across the country, ending up in Hawaii, his last state, meeting with officers and talking about his work. His website says he's helped give away more than 51,000 donuts since the project began. And that website is I do not need a reason to thank a cop.com.
Oh, that's nice.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching.